We're gonna make sure everything works. I know it's been a hot minute. Probably will be again when the next time I actually decide to do one of these things, but yeah, just making sure everything is correct. I have the chat whipped up, so I know, implying anybody's actually gonna watch this, but I know people will later down the line, even though they're gonna be like, wow, this is pretty poorly edited, so even though it's not really edited at all, this is gonna be very informal, so gonna get to it and make sure everything is adjusted accordingly. Make sure that is there, and then all right, perfect. See a couple cars on track. Just gonna do a little bit of quick rundown here, make sure everything is set in stone. And then, because everybody's at work or at school right now, so I'm not expecting much out of this turnout of like 0 people. So let's see here. Coming into this race, we have PJ Williams, 32 points ahead of 5th in points, Dylan Schwallenberg. Cody Lamas. Let's actually focus on this one by one on playoff contenders that I can actually look at for once in my life, and I'm not blind as a bat. So let's see here. I don't know if this will go all the way at 480. Okay, my thing doesn't say. Okay. The Cody Lamas is only 19 points out in that number 48 car. Then you see who you got here. Nick Gunther in the 35. He is actually above the cut line, +5 coming into the event. Let's see. Schwallenberg is -2. At 20 car, they did not really find much speed. Johnny Gardner, now known as Allison Rain, is actually also one of those guys looking in, or one of those peeps looking in. 11 points out. So a lot of work to do for this number 22 car. You see there's Eric Rodriguez, Jack Halleck. Just a little rundown through the field. PJ Williams coming into this race as the points leader. 32 above. Tommy Turbo, 27 below. So he's got to get a move on here in that number 95. Jack James, one of those drivers just barely above the cut line. And, oh, there goes William Brock spinning around off of turn 2. Might be a reoccurring theme in this series. And really in this race, honestly, with how aggressive these drivers are going to get. So Brock spinning off turn 2 is certainly no exception to that rule whatsoever. But Jessica Emery coming back out on the track. There's Cody Lamas. Jack James, as we noted. There's Joey Murphy coming down pit road. Josh Sekuli. Andre Rouse has got some left side damage to her car. William Duncan, a driver looking upwards. He sits second in the point standings, only 9 points above the cut line. A lot of drivers, actually very slim margin with exception of PJ Williams, that are near second through, I would say, 6th in the standings. 11 points is a lot, but still, anything goes in the Doublemint Cup Series. It's literally a series where you probably shouldn't take seriously, but at the end of the day, I think we all just want to have some very much good fun. So just keep that in mind. And just making sure, again, that everything is set in stone. Doesn't look like anybody else is getting to it. That's Dutta coming down pit road in the 32. Went from a Chevy to a Ford in a heartbeat. Murphy went from his RCR 13 to the Germain. They decided to get rid of the RCR car. Looks like we had a car blowing up. No. Yeah, the 2 car blew up, actually, so. All things set in stone. So actually, before we get to the race, let's actually show you the qualifying order. Josh Schooley on pole. Turns playoff contenders. PJ Williams starts 4th. Cody Lama 6th. And then you got Nick Gunther in 8th. Last but not least, you got Duncan starting in 18th. Jack James starts in 32nd, or 31st, excuse me. Johnny Gardner 33rd. Schwalmberg 35th. And then 38th is Tommy Turbo. So, mixture bag of qualifying order, and really a lot of drivers that qualify good might have good race pace or maybe good Q pace. But the race pace could be the inverse here. Can't quite get my words articulated quite right now, but it might change once we actually get to the race here. So 60 laps of action will wait here at ISM in this very much the embodiment of hell known as Arizona. Really a state in general that is just generally hot temperature, hot climate, and got to get yourself hydrated. That's a big thing as well, so make sure that happens. Doublemint is back after 2 years, it feels like. It literally is like an Olympic event. I don't know, whenever I run this series is when I'm too busy with life or anything goes here in Doublemint, but let's actually get to the race here. So look at all these cars, all these sexy cars, everybody. Again, this is very informal. Usually I'll put like a crud load of edits in these, but I'll probably do that for the finale whenever I decide to run that, which will probably be next year, knowing my luck and knowing how it goes. So let's accelerate a bit. Actually, let's get this car on and off the track, so let's do that right now. Here we go. Engines are fired up. You won't actually hear them until we actually get them all lined up together when they actually start going. And if we have a car that literally has a mechanical issue before the green flag, I'm going to restart the race. So that's also a big thing as well. So see as you will. Josh Sakuli on the pole here. Audra Baranowskis on his outside. And I know there's going to be people that are like, wow, these guys have, it's been a long while. And yes, it has. Sakuli out inside, Baranowskis outside. Jack Halleck sits in the 3rd position, replacing Theo Stegall after his adventures in the MCU. PJ Williams is the highest playoff contender qualified in. He is in 4th, and we'll mention them earlier in the race and earlier in the session, and now here they are. Pace car is off. Josh Sakuli will lead the way down. 42 cars lined up, ready to go here at Phoenix, Arizona. And 4 corners of treachery here in this very same vicinity. Green flag is out in the air. We're racing here at ISM, and what a start that 27 is able to get. He is off, and away, and you already see some drivers flocking it down to the inside to make it 3 wide into turn number 1. Cody Lamas up top. Nick Gunther on the middle groove there to make it 3 wide off of turn 2. And Audra Baranowskis in the top 3. Single file already into turns number 3 and 4. Ian Dutta already looking to take 3rd away. PJ Williams at the inside here as lap number 1 concludes here. It's Josh Sakuli leading the way. Audra Baranowskis in 2nd. Dutta from 3rd, while PJ Williams trying to fend off Jack Halleck for 4th. Cody Lamas way up on the racetrack, trying to cling onto a top 10 position as Nick Gunther again on the inside. They're 3 wide off of turn 2. And looks to be clean so far. William Duncan not looking too pretty so far in that number 6, sitting in 19th. At the moment, he is only +9 coming into this race. And Johnny Gardner and Jack James are not too far behind. And you see the 22 and the 42 right on the inside line. Dylan Schwalmberg, another driver, trying to move his way forwards. And certainly with the field packed up together, this is what you want to do, is get that track position early on as Cody Lamas kisses the turn 2 wall. And down the backstretch and into turn number 3, Hernandez makes it 3 wide into the corner. He gets by the 35 and the 48. But Josh Sakuli, though, still maintaining his gap over Audra Baranowskis. PJ Williams, with where he's running, he is so far clinched into the final 4. Not quite yet, but we have to wait and see how the race winds down. Could be a very clean one, could be a very treacherous one. And this very racetrack could have some good green flag racing as Jesse Turner makes it 3 wide on Gunther and Lamas. Looks like he might be able to clear that 35, and that inside line looks to be advantageous in 3 and 4, and not so much 1 and 2. You can get it to work in the middle, of that corner. But watch the outside line kind of dip a little bit here. You see Fitzwater check up a little bit off of turn 4, or turn 2, excuse me. And that might cost a little bit of momentum depending on how far side by side you are coming into this race. Sekuli, though, holding on to the lead. PJ Williams getting on the move here for second. Here he goes inside of the 47. And it looks like he'll be able to clear Andre Baranowskis for the time being. Halleck up the racetrack on Ian Dutta. That allows Pat Johnson to have a good head of steam off of turn 2. And here he goes all over the back bumper of that 16. Mike Hawk sitting in that 7th position. How about that for this 3 team? They have won a race this season, looking to try and gather up another win for Richard Childress Racing. Nick Gunther falling a little bit backwards here. Cody Lamas as well. Tommy Turbo, one of the drivers on the move, started 38th, already up to 20th. This 95 car looks very fast right now, and here we go. We've got ourselves a battle for the race lead. PJ Williams inside, Sekuli on the outside, and Andre Baranowskis to make it a 3-horse battle for the top spot. And here they go side by side for the lead, and into the dogleg they go. PJ Williams now neck and neck with the race leader and the points leader, looking to maintain his consistency this season. That is embodied the PJ Williams sweepstakes for this 19 team, and here they go, and there he goes to the race lead. Baranowskis now looking to take second away from Josh Sekuli. Pat Johnson looks to follow in the wings of that number 47, and so far so good in this race. Tommy Turbo closing in on Angel Navarro. He is now up to the 18th position. Nick Gunther sits right now in 16th, Lamas in 15th. Where is William Duncan? Way far back. All the way in the back. Jack James is all the way in the back too. Not looking too good for him. Duncan is 32nd. Make that 31st if you can get around William Brock. And there he goes. He's going to get past William Brock with ease. So Schwallenberg and Jack James. Schwallenberg outside looking in. James is really the inside trying to hold off the rest of the field. Is not doing a great and proper defense. And the same goes for Duncan. Right now, Johnny Gardner looks to be in a very good position to get into the Final Four. And he's not running the best right now either. He's running in 23rd at the moment. So Johnny Gardner just needs to just gradually just be moving his way upwards towards the field. There he goes down to the inside of Kev Shear. Not able to really get much. Tommy Turbo, though. Oh my goodness, that guy is on a whole different zip code. 4th fastest car on the track. He is in 17th. Make that 16th. Got around Nick Gunther. He might get into the top 10 in the next few laps or so because cars are shuffling to and fro. Cody Lamas just in front of the 95. Tommy Turbo essentially in a must-win situation coming into this race. Knows he's got to move upwards in this pack. He knows he's got to get around Cody Lamas if he wants to have a good shot in this event. Jesse Turner getting challenged by Hernandez here, and there is JT Bryant in the 12. He made the playoffs last year, really last season. It has been multiple years, actually, correction there, so a lot to be desired for this 12 team. Ian Dutta on the move in the inside of Joshua Sekuli. He's going to take the spot away. Easy pass there for Ian Dutta. And there you see Pat Johnson starting to close in. The Joe Gibbs car is looking very good in this run so far. Car number 19 and 11 running 1st and 3rd respectively. Betty Johnson inside the top 5 in that 83 car. JT Bryant is up and away. He is closing in on Vince Freeze. This is for 7th. So we've had some pretty good action so far in this race, and it might be calming down just a bit here. Nick Gunther getting challenged by Richard Johnson here. This looks to be for the 18th position. O'Neal Baldwin falling a little bit back in the field. Annie Thomas trying to keep her feet alive and keep her hopes in terms of gathering more positions on the track this season. Jeffrey Fingai, one of those what-if situations, made it into the playoffs despite the limited amount of starts, but here he is now, running splendidly. Really having an outstanding season, though not running the best at the moment. JT Bryant up the racetrack, though, going to lose out to Vince Freeze. Josh Sekuli will maintain his position. He's actually one of the only drivers actually in this field that has yet to crack a top 5 in the Doublemint Cup Series. So if there's any first you want, that is certainly a top 5 for this 2070. He's currently outside of that, trying to catch Ian Dutta in that number 32. He's still looking for that top 5. He's got this race and Homestead to really try and gather up a top 5 spot. And I think if they can do that, I think he'd be very much happy enough. So PJ Williams, though, still in command. Andre Baranowskis has been able to close in the gap just by a tenth or two. It was 0.33, and now it's 0.23, so he's actually gathered up a singular tenth. On that number 19, Luis Hernandez now side by side with his teammate. The RCR cars coming to life here as Hernandez on the inside there. JT Bryan, Jesse Turner making it 3 wide here as JT Bryan. Good run off the corner. Going to be able to fend him off for now, and Turner trying to go through the dog leg. Tommy Turbo continuing to make forward progress. He is up to 12th right now as of lap number 18. Freeze up the hill. Here comes Goss and here comes Turbo to join in. Ooh, big slide and a good crossover move. Here comes Freeze inside here. And Jesse Turner playing hard to get in that 17. And what a run for Jesse Turner, though, right now. And Andre Baranowskis still, again, putting pressure down. Jack James, though, plumb last in this race. Duncan running in a 40th position. Dismal effort for both these guys. Kyle Matthews not looking too good. Dylan Schwalberg's only up to 35th right now. So Schwalberg did not qualify well, and neither is he starting well in this race. So he's got to hope for pit stops to go into his favor. Nick Gunther's starting to fade in this run as well. I have no idea where he is. He is in 23rd right now, and he's going to lose out to Kev Shear and Chris Dodd soon enough. So let's see what Gunther has in store. But right now, that 35 car does not look too good at all. Seth Cole there in the 77. Jonathan Zorlin. There is Charles Sanford as well. And here we go. A lot of cars just kind of scrambling about here in this race. Top 3, though, still in hand. Betty Johnson. There's Ian Dutta. Oh, Sakuli nearly hit the wall off of turn 2, so could have been really spicy there, but he's holding up a gaggle of cars. Tommy Turbo up the racetrack, and he's going to get around Jesse Turner. Tommy Turbo has definitely put the turbo on that 95 car. He is flying in this race. He's now inside the top 10 as a lap number 22. William Brock now on the charge inside of Nick Gunther. Gunther only sits right now in that 25th spot. And 25, that's not a lot of points you can gather up. So it's going to be a very close margin regardless of what happens. 3 wide right in front of him. Tommy Turbo getting past here. Will Goss in the middle. Fitzwater on the inside as Sakuli continues to drop back. In terms of track position, he is fading. Might have used his stuff up early because now I think he's outside the top 10. So we see a lot of cars coming and going in this race. The top 3 still in the bay. So Pat Johnson going to try the top side here to see if we can experiment. And here he actually goes down pit road. So we might have a 2-stopper here. So we might have a pit stop here. Oh, a couple cars stacking up there. Jack Halleck might have had to slow up due to Jesse Turner. And that's going to cause a huge domino effect. Finguy had to slow down as well. And here we go, Joey Murphy, all these other guys staying out on the track. So Pat Johnson, Nick Gunther, the first of the playoff contenders to come down pit road. And here comes PJ Williams. Next car down, will anybody stay out? Hernandez stays out on the track. So good on him. Johnny Gardner, one of our playoff contenders, will stay out on the racetrack as well. Gonna be very fun here as we've got a bot in the chat having a good time there. Definitely not our prime sponsor for the Doublemint Cup Series. It's literally a Wrigley's Gum company that is sponsoring this series. Not really. This is just a fun series, so don't sue me. But Hernandez staying out on the racetrack. Here he comes down pit road here for lap number 26. Will Goss follows in line. Gardner, Zorlin, Seth Cole. Then you got Kev Shear, Charles Sanford, and the rest of the field coming down. Mike Hawk ahead of Jesse Turner's number 17. Though actually, yeah, he will be ahead of Jesse Turner, so good on him. There's Gunther out of his stall. He looked like he had a really terrible stop. I thought he was so far back it didn't really matter. So PJ Williams, there he is. Pat Johnson will beat the 19 car off. Andre Baranowski's had a really slow stop in that 47, so not a good time to be a JTG fan. Tommy Turbo is going to be in front of the 31. Mike Hawk will file right behind. Vince Freeze is number 31. And there's Josh Sakuli still fading in the background. As here we go, more cars coming off of pit row. Johnny Gardner. There is Luis Hernandez. Will be right in front of Tommy Turbo potentially. Let's see if Turbo's able to get to him, and will do so, but he's going to get held up big time. The dirty air really kicked in for that 95, but keep an eye out on some of these drivers on newer tires here. Johnny Gardner will be one to certainly look out for in this race. Couple cars really stuck down pit road. They might have had some penalties there, so looks like no playoff contenders to note out of that, so might have had some broken pit stalls to be exact. But Tommy Turbo inside of Luis Hernandez here. He has closed in on the 33. Good run off of turn 2. Side by side. And here he goes. Hard on the brakes. Into the corner. And just like that, going to clear the 33 off of turn 4 with ease. Turbo up to 7th. But right now, Pat Johnson in command of the race lead as of lap number 29. And there you see PJ Williams in 2nd, Johnson in 3rd, Dutta 4th, Andre Baranowski your top 5 with JT Bryan sitting comfortably inside the top 10 with a top splendid effort with a 6th place run. Turbo up to 7th, might be one of the fastest cars on the track. He actually is the fastest car on the racetrack there. How about that? 26.303. What a flyer for him. And there you see Hernandez, Freeze, and Hawk. A couple of RCR cars, a trio of them to be exact. Clocking out your top 10. But Baranowski's now inside of Ian Dutta. That is going to be for the 4th spot. And Andre Baranowski's had a very strong car all race long. But, man, Tommy Turbo could pull the unthinkable here. If he can catch him, he's only 5 seconds back, so he's got to dispose of these cars in front of him. He knows his car is strong, but matter at hand is, will he use up the tires? That is a big question, or will caution fly? William Duncan and Schwalmberg are not looking too good. 38th and 37th in this race. And so Jack James is not looking good as well, sitting in 36th, so they really, I think what they need is a caution. Miles Matthews has some front end damage or some side damage to his number 24. But this has actually been one of the cleaner Doublemint races I've seen in quite a while here. So I've never really seen Doublemint races go this clean. Usually the racing is kind of up subpar. So Tommy Turbo, though, got past JT Bryan up to 6th. Now closing in for a top 5 run. So Tommy Turbo is looking to try and win this race. They know if they win, they are in to the final round. And Turbo's had a heck of a season. 2 wins in his belt in that 95 car. He has definitely exceeded expectations. The 95 car actually made the playoffs, I believe, last season too. Actually, I think he did. No, Sergio Alonso did not make it in season 1. I think he was pretty close, though. They looked pretty fast, but just could not have the speed to really back things up. But Pat Johnson clocking in 26.5, and Turbo's kind of starting to back off a little bit here, and his pace starting to even out, balance out a little bit here, as now he is all over the back bumper of Ian Dutta. O'Neal Baldwin inside of Jonathan Zorlin. Andy Thomas going to follow in hot pursuit, while Johnny Gardner getting attacked by Chris Dodd's number 88. And here he goes down to the inside. Dodd has not had the best of seasons despite making the playoffs. He's also had 2 wins in his belt, but more or less he's only 11th in the standings. So a lot to be desired for this 88 team. And again, looks like the bot's having fun with our little chat here. So I don't know what they're doing. They're definitely wanting to advertise something, more or less. But Duncan is just looking terrible in this race. PJ Williams sitting comfortably, though, as the points leader. Will maintain that lead with how he's running, though the gap seems to extend for Pat Johnson. Johnson is just looking splendid out there. He's run a perfect race in this number 11 right now, and he did win Indianapolis from my recollection. It's been a hot minute, but he sits 22nd in the standings, looking to get another win to cap things off. And there's Betty Johnson. There's the 47, Baranowskis, as we noted. Ian Dutta trying to hold off for a top 5 spot. That 95 has come to life. Fitzwater sitting inside or the top 15 comfortably in 12th. And speaking of Fitzwater, hello there, buddy. And hello to you as well, Brandon. Hopefully you're all having a good time. I know it's a very small crowd of people, but we can blame the pandemic for all that. So, Richard Johnson making his move forwards on the inside of Annie Thomas. That is her position there. And again, so far, so good. A clean race in this 60-lap event. Expected a lot more controversy here, but it's a lot more anticlimactic than I thought it would have been. Jack James just struggling with that 42. William Duncan getting passed by the 38. This is really a nightmare race for both a lot of playoff contenders. Really, actually, second through fourth are way far down the order. So Duncan's in 37th. Jack James is sitting in 34th. And Nick Gunther is in 32nd. And based on where Gardner is at, I think Gardner's actually in very good hands. Cody Lamas is another guy. Really, with Schwalbenberg struggling, this really leaves the open door for Gardner, Lamas, and Turbo. So, the bottom three, Schwalbenberg is the outside guy looking as well, but he is not running anything for the life of him. They've just missed out on the setup. Right now, they are looking like the best cars right now. So, Tommy Turbo could get a top 5. It'd be really close, though. He'd have to really haul a big load, but I think in where he's running, a 5th can contrast to James's literal 34th. So do a little bit of math there. That should be 29. Turbo actually could point his way in, so he's sitting comfortably in the 5th position, and it's just all the way up for him. It's really only up for that 95 car unless he blows up. Johnny Gardner is starting to move up a little bit as well. He's only in 15th, but even so, gaining a lot of time when it's needed. So Duncan and Schwalbenberg could be knocked out. Gunther could be knocked out as well. Duncan, I don't know. Duncan is just they're not looking good at all. It's gonna be very close actually with how the cutoff line is. But PJ Williams though, he's honestly fine. I think if he just doesn't screw up, he's into the playoffs without issue. He can make it to the Final Four. No harm, no foul for that 19 car. He is only sitting comfortably in 2nd. Pat Johnson is on a whole different area, an island by himself. Andre Baranowskis is trying to pressure Betty Johnson, who is now up to 3rd. The Maxwell House car looking very strong in the late half of this race. Will Goss trying to close in on 11th on Mike Hawk. Fitzwater in 13th. Chris Dodd in 14th. So here comes Will Goss down on the inside of the 3, and I think this is kind of where the new tires, the younger tires, will start to kick in. Will we have one more pit stop is the other factor in this race. I'd say maybe so. So maybe we might see a driver stretch it out, maybe try and go bold. But right now, we haven't really seen anybody come down pit road. Murphy did come down pit road a little bit back, but he had a tire issue on that Geico machine. Here we go. Tommy Turbo is reeled in. 4th and 3rd. Here he goes. Outside line he's going to go. Not the most ideal line, but going to lose a little bit of ground there, so that's going to cost him a bit. But he's got to hope that the 47 battles it out, and right now, that's what they're doing. Baranowska side by side with Betty Johnson. Johnson, though, going to try and fend off on the top side, but not able to do anything. And Andre Baranowski's back up to 3rd. So a lot of drivers that kind of qualified up front, staying in the front. But the biggest mover is Tommy Turbo, 38th to 5th. What a drive it has been for him. Gardner now losing a spot to O'Neal Balvin. So right now the 22 kind of sits a bit comfortably as well. Finguy hasn't looked the prettiest out there. Cody Lamas has just not made much progress. And that 48, he sits in 23rd. Right, battling it out with teammate Eric Rodriguez. Dylan Young trying to make a move on the inside of that 48. But you see here, there's Jack Halleck, Gabe Williams, Nick Gunther going to try and make it 3 wide here underneath Charles Sanford and Seth Cole. And that is 4, looks to be the 30th spot, so... Oh my goodness, Gunther just could not get anything out of that. So, Jack James isn't looking good at all. Duncan's getting passed by Schwallenberg and Kyle Matthews, so these guys are battling it out to be the final car in the lead lap, so... I think they just need a caution, honestly. They need a caution if they want things to go the way they want it to be. Because they could gather up track position if they desire, but Richard Johnson inside a dot. Oh, man, contact there. Mike Hawk slowed down, and the front end of the 21 is now demolished, and that is a big rip there. Might be a free spot for them. Actually, that might be 2 spots for those guys up there. Could make a big difference right now, but some damage done. We hear a little bit of debris flying out, but it looks like everybody has kept it clean. Here comes Pat Johnson down pit road. PJ Williams gonna follow right behind. Tommy Turbo not taking any risks. And a couple of cars gonna stay out on the track. Richard Johnson, though, with front end damage to his car. And what has been a very clean ISM race. Mostly, so. You see Tommy Turbo, they're going to take 4 tires. Do they have a slow stop? Oh, he might have actually only taken 2, so. Wow, okay, interesting strategy call there. So let's see what Pat Johnson's going to do. There they go. Here he comes off of pit road. Looks like he might have a comfortable gap. Where on earth is PJ Williams? Oh, there he is, right there, so... Vince Freeze is only a buffer to them, looks like. Unless he actually beat the number 95 out, so might have actually done just that. But here comes the 25 down pit road. Here we go, everybody else coming down. I think they're actually going to try and complete the strategy calls on them. They're all committed to their own individualistic strategy. Gonna be very fun to see PJ Williams. Will he be able to catch Pat Johnson? I doubt it. Look at how far he is ahead. Holy smoly, that man's just gone. he's just good. He's like, goodbye. I'm gone. Betty Johnson, though, gonna be ahead of Vince Freeze right now. Vince Freeze, I'm not quite sure if he's actually battling for a position. This is how lost I am 90% of the time, but here he goes down towards the inside. And Vince Freeze gonna clear him off of turn number 2. Yeah, that is for position, so Freeze clocking into the top 5. Tommy Turbo actually is gonna lose out on some spots here, so he is down in 8th, so he needs to get a move on here in that 95. Nobody else, though. Audrey Baranowski's looked to be one of the bigger losers as well in that 47. She did not look good at all. Now she's outside and plummeting outside the top 10, so... Speaking of the battle for the top 10 spot, that is Ian Dutta sitting in that 10th position right now. JT Bryant had a really good call there. He's gonna kind of maintain where he's at. O'Neal Baldwin battling it out for, actually O'Neal Baldwin is in 10th, so here comes Gardner up the hill. Fitzwater gonna try and run him down, and oh, Gardner had to check up because of the 38, so that's actually gonna give Fitzwater a lot of breathing space in. The Australian going to try and catch down O'Neal Baldwin to get himself a top 10. So Fitzwater looking very good today. Good effort for him, buddy. But you see the gap extend here. 4.86 is the gap here. I don't think... I wouldn't really say PJ Williams has got anything on that 11. But it's going to be a Joe Gibbs 1-2 unless Vince Freeze says otherwise here. PJ Williams, he is clinched in, or as of right now, Tommy Turbo is in 6th. So what he's got to do is get a move on here. Maybe try and catch Jesse Turner's number 17. But I think with time running out, he might not have a shot at catching him in time. Ian Dutta up the hill. All trying to get around Bill Gunther here. Yeah, got some good Heckenbots here. They have put a lot of life into this chat. And you see there, 4 laps ago, this race has kind of flown by, actually. Only been 32 minutes. That's how fast this race has been. Green flag run all the way. We haven't had a caution at all. Audrey Baranowski's trying to move to the inside of Johnny Gardner. And looks like nothing out of that. So Dodd gonna make it 3 wide. Will he go for it? Oh my goodness, that's cutting it close. 3 laps to go in the event. I think the chances for Duncan and Schwallenberg are down the toilet. They are, oh my goodness, they are terrible right now. Gunther might be in jeopardy too with, really, Gunther's 4 points behind Duncan though. And Duncan's not doing hot either, so both of these two guys are in trouble. James is in trouble because he's only 2 points to the good, but again, with how these drivers are running, this is not a really good sign at all. But here they go, 2 laps to go in the event. Pat Johnson maintaining his gap over PJ Williams. So right now, this 11 team, they have, ever since they've taken the lead, they have never turned back. So here they come off of turn 4. White flag gonna fly. 1 more lap to go here at ISM for Pat Johnson. Car number 11 has just been unstoppable this whole race, and man, he's put a statement here today. Off of turn number 2, he's got nobody in his sights. Couple lap cars more or less, but he's just had a perfect race. Since he got the lead, no turning back, and off of turn number 4, Pat Johnson's gonna take the win here at ISM. PJ Williams is gonna clinch his spot into the final 4. Here's Vince Freeze with a podium spot in 3rd, Betty Johnson 4th. Jesse Turner rounds out your top 5 here. Will Goss, how about that? P6 for the 15. Took it away from Tommy Turbo here. Turbo is going to finish in 7th. Ian Dutta 8th. And then you got Bryant 9th and O'Neal Baldwin rounding at your top 10. Fitzwater just outside, looking in, was in 11th. Johnny Gardner, where did he finish? Looked to be 13th. Splendid effort for them. Not where they probably wanted to end up, but regardless, that is a great run. Cody Lamas, where on earth did he finish? He finished in 23rd, so not looking too good there. Jack James finished in 30th. Schwallenberg 33rd. Gunther 34th, and Duncan 35th. Holy smoly, they dropped the ball on that. And now we are getting closer to the moment of truth. Let me save the export. I actually had a race a while back, but the replay got corrupted, so we're gonna replace that right now. I think, yeah, it's race 29, so gonna do that. I had this done a while back, but the replay is dead, so let's do that. Okay, here we go. Everybody knows I saved it, so can't talk crud about me. Boo. Quite a turn of events here. Race results. First through looks to be 28th, and then the rest on bound. There it is. Down to 42nd. So, looking into that. Boom, we're done. Pat Johnson shows muscle, yada yada yada, don't care. Dominate the race for a reason. So now, into our moment of truth, our score 4 scoring. Boom. Let's go to our process. Let's go to Doublemint Season 2, and then I'm just gonna get to whatever track, so it doesn't really matter. Usually, as long as you have the track in, you're good. You just put whatever. Let's check our results. That's not the right one. I'm used to Hardee's, so Pat Johnson led the most laps, 32. PJ Williams, 17. Sikuli led 7. Seth Cole only led a mere lap, so get rid of my own name there. All right. Now, point standings. So, who survives? Who lives? PJ Williams will obviously live. Dude was literally vibing in second the whole race. Johnny Gardner makes it into the final 4. Makes it in comfortably. Good margin there. I'm actually going to pull the calculator out because I'm going to do my math right now. So let's see. Gardner, 2573. And you subtract that, you base that off of Gunther, 2566. So he's in by 7 points over Nick Gunther. Gunther will not make it in. Jack James, by a singular point, will beat Nick Gunther out. Tommy Turbo's run was not enough. If he had gotten up there, he pulled his all. I would say if he had gotten up there, got that, I would say that 6th position, maybe 5th. let's see here. So he finished 7th, 36 points. If he got in 5th, I think Turbo would have been in. Turbo was in the top 5. The stop just did not work out. So that will do it. So, man, Turbo was so close. Cody Lamas didn't really have much of a shot to begin with, so it didn't really matter. He was pretty. I'm kind of curious actually. So let's actually do that right now. So Jeff James or Jack James. See, that's what happens when you have J James. It's just almost the exact same thing. Yeah. So he beat Tommy Turbo by 4 points. So that's already saying, that's a statement right there. He didn't even run that good, and Turbo ran phenomenal. Let's see how much he beat Schwal. 5 points. It's right there actually. So 5, and then he beat Dodd, not Dodd, but Lamas by 12. So the gaps were a lot smaller. Duncan holds on by a mere 3. So William Duncan able to make it in. So let's see. We got a Gibbs car into the final round. We got a Penske car. We've got ourselves a Roush car. And then we have a Ganassi car. So very fun Final Four. Gonna be interesting to see who will come out on top. Playoffs are wild. This race was a lot tamer than the other ones, but sometimes that's all you need is a tame race. And some interesting strategy. Some cars coming and going. Tommy Turbo looked to be one of the fastest cars he had. The fastest car. But imagine if qualifying went well for him. He probably could have won this race. For all we know. And this was a green flag run. Through and through. No cautions. Clean race all around. That's all there is to it. Pat Johnson only gained a spot after winning another race. So I think that's how far he was behind Arja Baranauskas and Jonathan Zorlin. More or less. Hernandez is the highest running non-playoff driver. He is 10 points ahead of Jonathan Zorlin. Jesse Turner is gained 5 spots, so big gain for Jesse Turner. Josh Sekuli has yet to crack a top 5. He's got one more race to do it. The Kev Shear in 29th. Then you got Thomas, Goss, Dutta. That gained some spots. Brock lost 2. Jonathan Rains lost 3. Mike Hawk 41st in the standings. Theo Stegall 42nd. But really a big shift in the playoff picture here. And your final 4, P.J. Williams, Johnny Gardner, William Duncan, and Jack James. And make a big note here, Johnny Gardner has changed his name to Allison Rain, but for the sake of records, we're keeping it as Johnny Gardner. So just keep that in mind, a little bit of a disclaimer right there. But more or less, thank you all for watching the Doublemint Cup Series. It's been a hot minute. I'll have a more, I guess, formal and polished version of the finale at Homestead Miami Speedway. Going to be a very fun race to see who will proclaim themselves as a Doublemint Cup Series champion. Our defending champion did not show up this season, which makes sense, honestly. This series comes and goes. But interesting battle. A lot of fans are going to be cheering for each driver. I think a lot of them are going to be cheering for William Duncan, honestly. I think he's going to be the big favorite. Has the best finishing average, but it's only one race. It doesn't quite matter. So, though, based on how this is, they will still get their points based on their win total. So, PJ Williams, we can do the math right now. So, I'm actually not going to end this quite yet. So, we're going to do some quick maths right now. We're gonna get this to let's get this to 2,700. I'm gonna open a new notepad. I'll put that on my other monitor. So I'm gonna do the math right now. So let's say you have 2 wins. You have 2,710. So minus 2,573. Duncan's going to have 137 points. PJ Williams only has 1 win. 2,705. You subtract that by 2,630. So that's 75. Gardner. 2 wins as well, actually. 2, 7, 10. 137 as well, actually. Unless I did that wrong. So let me double check that again. I probably put that for Duncan instead of yeah, I put that for Duncan instead of Gardner. So 10 minus 2, 5, 6, 9. So it's actually 141 for Duncan. Excuse me there. And then Jack James. So for him, that is 1 win. 2705. And subtract that by 2,567, and you get 138. So we're actually going to do the math right now, get that over with, and then let's add that to our results tally. So that's how I'm going to do it. PJ Williams, what a run for him. He got P2 in that, so 75. Final round. Let's see. Gardner with that 13th place run. 3-7. Playoffs. And all the way down. They're all down here. Jack James finished 30th, though, so kind of a decent, kind of some bandage control there. Some damage control there for him. Playoffs, and Duncan finished 35th, so 141. The playoffs is the reason. Now let's make sure the math is right. So here we go. Duncan and Gardner, they have a 5-point advantage. Does make a difference, though, so you never know. PJ Williams and Jack James. So based on your allotted wins, that's what you'll have coming into the finale. Everybody else, they're kind of fighting by themselves. So like their own little quads. You can eliminate round of 8. You just fight back from 5th through whatever. So 5th through 8th. That's just kind of how I do it, just because it's kind of fair. It might change if I have another season, implying I do have another season. But more or less, though, your final 4 set up, ready to go here at Homestead. Going to be very fun to see what these drivers have in store for some wild action in the high banks of Homestead, Miami. Alright, thank you all for watching the Doublemint Cup Series. This is Inner 2003 Gamer here, and we'll be signing out.